So I've been a journalist for about 7 years now. I spent some time in Indonesia, but also here in the Philippines. A few years ago, when I started breaking a series of exclusive corruption-related stories on some male senators, a rumor quickly spread among Senate staff. Who was I sleeping with, they said, that I was getting these stories. In 2013, when I reported about Janet Napoles' daughter's lifestyle and questioned where she got the money to fund the Hollywood high-rise apartment, the sports cars, the designer clothes, Napoles filed a libel suit against me. The libel suit accused me of being envious of her daughter, which was allegedly my motive to spread false and malicious lies. And just last year, when I decried the slut-shaming of the president himself towards Senator Laila de Lima, I was attacked online on social media and called names that I can't say here, threatened rape and murder, and was accused of sleeping with former President Benigno Aquino III. So, stereotypes of women within the media industry still very much exist. Very early on in my career, I realized that when female journalists are successful and doing their job well, it's hard to believe they got there by sheer hard work. It must have been because they slept with someone on the way up, or their articles are critical because they're jealous of another woman or whoever is in power. And it cannot be that she's just intelligent or competent or fearless. And when she is fearless, she gets attacked. So one of the most extreme cases of female journalists paying the price for excellent work is the case of Khadija Ismailova, an investigative journalist from Azerbaijan. I really like her story because when I heard it, I was like, okay, in the Philippines, medyo okay pa tayo. So Khadija exposed the president's corruption. When she refused to stop reporting, despite anonymous threats, a sex video of her and her boyfriend was anonymously posted online. It went viral. Her own investigation revealed that the government bugged her apartment with hidden cameras. She also served time in jail on retaliatory charges by the government. So this problem of competent women in journalism getting attacked is a global problem. In the Philippines, women journalists are relatively more fortunate. Women can succeed here in journalism, and we do enjoy representation. They had major networks, we run newsrooms, report from the field, but we also don't need to look far to realize that this is far from reality in other places. For 2 years, I served as the bureau chief of Rappler Indonesia, our very first international bureau. I was one of a handful of bureau chiefs that were women. So most editors-in-chief in Indonesia are still men, and as a woman journalist, Indonesian government officials often commented on my looks, asked about my marital status, and were often touchy. In Indonesia, a women's march was mocked and laughed at. So even in neighboring countries in the region, it's much worse. But just because women journalists are slightly better off in the Philippines and we occupy positions of power in this industry, it does not mean the battle is over. All one has to do is look at social media to realize how far we yet have to go. So I could talk about the importance of having good representation of women in news. They're important there to shape discussions around current events and to cover a wide variety of topics related to women and their struggles. Or I could talk about the importance of fighting stereotypes in media, of having women journalists who are strong and fearless and critical rather than just well-dressed and beautiful. But I want to talk about social media and its role in women empowerment. My whole journalism career has been focused in the digital space. This is what I know. I'm a digital native. I grew up with social media. And Rappler itself, which is now the top online-only news website in the Philippines, we thrive on social media. Our bloodline is digital, but we also know the consequences of social media. I don't have to tell you how powerful social media is. We all know it has toppled dictators and have helped shape elections, fire politicians. But in the feminism movement, it has also become indispensable. Social media has swiftly and widely spread feminism ideologies. Social media, specifically hashtags and online campaigns, have given women around the world a voice. It has shed light on women's issues that were not previously discussed, or if they are discussed very slightly on mainstream media, social media has enhanced the conversation. Social media triggers participation for real-life campaigns, and in many cases, these seemingly simple hashtags have actually instigated change. So let me give you a few examples. In 2014, Victoria's Secret faced widespread social media backlash for their campaign, The Perfect Body. An online petition on change.org quickly racked up 30,000 signatures in a few hours. Victoria's Secret listened to public outrage and opted for a less damaging "a body for everybody," which is a healthier, more inclusive message to send to young women. So this is one example of how an online campaign that started with a hashtag actually changed something. We also saw the hashtag "Bring Back Our Girls" after Boko Haram abducted schoolgirls in Nigeria. The hashtag aimed to pressure their release. Some of the girls were eventually released after years. Some, of course, were killed. And while it cannot be simply attributed to this hashtag, the release of the young girls, the global movement did raise awareness about the struggles of women living in West Africa. And it also pressured Nigerian authorities. After lengthy negotiations, when the Nigerian government finally successfully negotiated the release of this woman, their statement actually mentioned a hashtag. The statement read, quote, "The president has repeatedly expressed his total commitment towards ensuring the safe return of the hashtag Chibok girls." So you can tell that it did play a role. Even Rappler, we've used these hashtags for campaigns. The goal of hashtag Save Mary Jane was to save the life of Mary Jane Veloso, a Filipino domestic worker in Indonesia who was accused of smuggling drugs. In the end, it succeeded. There was pressure on Indonesian President Joko Widodo as well as President Benigno Aquino to speak to each other, and in the end, she was pulled out of the line right when she was walking towards the execution post. So that was successful. But it also raised awareness on the plight of women who are often targeted for drug trafficking. So these are ways that hashtags and social media have been used to further the cause of feminism. And of course here, just recently, social media was unforgiving to Senator Tito Sotto for shaming a single mother, although it remains to be seen whether that had any actual effect on his future behavior. But one would hope that some men seeing the backlash would at least rethink misogynistic comments and statements like these and opinions. So social media, through its pace of dissemination and its reach, has become a massive tool for women empowerment. It has also helped share encouragement between women. I like to think of social media as the ultimate she-for-she instigator. The like button has served as a virtual hug when we support other women who share their thoughts or opinions or experiences online. And I'd like to think that social media in some ways have helped women empathize with other women across the world who share their personal experiences. Pantsuit Nation, which was first started to rally camaraderie among Hillary Clinton supporters in 2016, is a secret Facebook page that now has about 4 million followers. And if you look at the page, it's just absolutely vibrant, absolutely robust. Women will share their own experiences, and just the support that they get is fascinating. It's massive. I encourage all of you to join that group, actually. But social media in this way has been a tool for women to support one another. But I'm not naive, and as we all know, social media has also been used to silence the voices of women through online abuse. Women in power and women journalists are especially targeted in online attacks. And studies have consistently shown that the threat and attacks against women are distinctly different from men. So both men and women will usually get physical threats, but the ones against women are sexually related always. The names that they are called are, I cannot say them, but they are meant to assert dominance, to silence, and to intimidate. So I want to share an experience because I've written about this on Facebook as well. But when I defended Senator Laila de Lima, when I disagreed with the president talking about her sex video, the words that were thrown were very, so it would say whore or cocksucker or very demeaning words and all sexual. So it shows still that most men, or no, not most men, sorry, that there's still this misogynistic culture which allow a lot of men to feel that it's okay to speak this way towards women. And the likes that these comments would get is also what's troubling. And it's comparable to, I guess, the laughter in the room when Tito Sotto made comments, because it's a permission for men to continue making these comments. It's an acceptance that this is, it normalizes this sort of behavior. And we're seeing that also on social media. So social media, while it has been used to further feminism, has also been used to spread misogyny and have encouraged some sexists to come out of the woodwork. Because some of these men who may not actually explicitly say their thoughts, when they see that hateful comments they agree with get a lot of likes, they're empowered to speak that way as well. So additionally, the last thing I'm going to say is the term slacktivism has also been used to describe digital activism, since liking and sharing online makes people feel like they've done enough, that they're active, and it makes them feel good. But the problem is when they stop after just liking comments, right? So when the online campaign has no real concrete political or social impact, this is what's called slacktivism. So we must also be cautious about falling into this trap and realizing that just liking comments or sharing pro-feminism messages is not enough. And that's one thing that we have to make sure that we actually use social media to further cause us and not just stop there. So what is certain is social media is here to stay, and it will continue to play a role in women empowerment and the advancement of feminism. What matters, of course, is how well or responsibly we use it. Thank you.